welcome back. As hip hop celebrates its 50th anniversary, it's important to acknowledge its massive global impact. Over the past decade, hip hop has taken over the music industry, setting trends and influencing culture. Leland Robinson, CEO of Sugarhill Records and a pioneer of the genre, joins me to discuss his role in shaping hip hop and the future of the genre. Leland, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me here.
Now, can you tell us about Sugarhill Records, how it was founded and the motivations behind starting the label?
Okay, my mother, Sylvia Robinson, started in 1979 with the first group, Sugarhill Gang. She went over to a birthday party over in Manhattan, I think it was, and seeing these guys rapping on the mic, which was like, the rap parties back in the days, and she took that and she thought it would be a great idea to put it on wax. And here we are 50 years later of something that she did.
Now, what was the vision she had for Sugarhill Records, especially thinking, it's been 50 years now. So what was her initial vision?
Well, her vision was to do something different that no one's ever done before, and start a new genre of music. Because prior to this, she was an artist herself, and she had worked with a lot of various artists back in the days. So this was something that she wanted to do that was different, and she felt that this would work.
Now, how did her work contribute to making hip hop a recognized genre? As I mentioned, it's a global phenomenon, and so many appreciate the genre. So, how did her work contribute to that?
Well, basically, what she did was take songs that were big in those days, and there was no sampling at the time when she did it, so she had to replay everything. And she replayed those big songs and had these guys rapping on the songs that everybody used to listen to and at the parties and stuff that they attended. And that's what her vision was, and she made a big mark in it.
Now, I could imagine that starting anything for the first time, there's going to be a lot of challenges. So what were some challenges your mom faced in establishing this genre, and how did the company overcome them?
She challenged one of our biggest challenges was they said that it wouldn't go that far. They told her that it's not going to work. They told her she didn't have to stoop that low to do this, and she went against everybody else. And as a strong Black woman, she did her thing.
Now, it's so shocking for me to hear that, considering, now we see, where hip hop has gone and what it's become. Why do you think that people probably didn't believe in the genre when it first started?
I mean, there was only rock and roll, there was R&B, there was jazz, and all other kinds of different genres of music. And it was new to everybody and everyone. So basically, like, for instance, Rapper's Delight was a 15-minute record. There's never been a 15-minute record ever, you know what I mean? And when it first came out, they were forced to play the 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So it was something that she went against the grain to do whatever she wanted to do, and she really made it happen.
And I also want to point out the fact that, you talked about how she was a Black woman. And I think, for a long time, we talk about like women in hip hop, or we kind of like maybe separate the two into like different categories. But it's so amazing to hear that, like she was like pretty much part of, this pretty amazing genre that has grown so much. So can you just talk about, reflecting on that, what it feels to just know that your mom had a huge impact on that?
Well, it really feels good to see exactly what she started 50 years ago with this genre called hip hop. I just think that, as a woman, she had it a lot rougher than the male had it. But, she was able to overcome that and, not say no to whatever it was. And she went full speed ahead with, whatever she believed in.
Now, as CEO of Sugarhill Records, how do you see the legacy of your mom influencing the current landscape of hip hop?
Well, she's a part of most major artists' career. She's a part of Jay-Z. She's a part of Kanye West. She's a part of Ice Cube. She's a part of Dr. Dre. She's a part of Drake. She has songs from her catalog that's on all these people's album, and the list goes on and on and on. You got the AZ, you have Nas, you have a whole bunch of. She's got a major contribution with hip hop that people really don't know about. They just know of the Rapper's Delight and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and all the other groups. But also, she was the first to start the Latino rapping as well, too, on wax.
Oh wow! Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because this is
Yeah,
something that's new to me. Just hearing that right
yeah.
now.
Well, back in I think it was 80, 81, she had a group called the Mean Machine, and it was a Latino group, and they had Latino rappers that was rapping on the records.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. And I think it only proves how much like hip hop has influenced, so many different cultures, especially in New York City. So that's so amazing to hear.
yeah.
Now, what principles or values from the early days of Sugar Hill Records continue to shape the label's identity?
Well, her work speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Whatever she created back then, is still coming to light now. You know what I mean? Here it is 50 years later. We're still listening to hip hop. There's a lot of great artists out there. And she still has like these samples on all these great people's albums. So, you know what I mean? She still has a major contribution to all these artists.
Now, in 2023, we celebrate 50 years of hip hop. From your perspective, how has the genre evolved since the pioneering days of Sugar Hill Records?
Rap has changed. You know what I'm saying? It's become, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, they have like they have commercial rap. They have, NWA had the gangster rap and stuff like. It's a whole bunch of different ways that I love all rap music. Period. You know what I mean? So I just appreciate the fact and the creativity of all these artists and what they're doing today.
Now, I kind of want to expand on that as well. That sometimes a lot of people are very like hypercritical of some newer hip hop
Hmm.
artists. What are your thoughts on that? Because the genre has changed and there are so many subgenres. Now people are mixing, or actually they did this before, like mixing rap and rock, and like
Hmm.
mixing all of
Hmm.
the elements. So, what are your thoughts on how the genre has evolved, especially in regards to our youth today?
Wow. I want to go back to that question because I
Okay.
want to think about it for a minute.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
want to give you the right answer.
All right. So while you think about that, what role has a label played in this ongoing evolution of hip hop?
Well, again, we've played a major part. We're a part of all of these major artists, that is still relevant now. And her thing was back in those days to do songs that are commercial songs that have longevity, songs that's going to be here today and be there tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's what she, created. A lot of these rappers, they do songs for the day. And a lot of them, what songs would you be listening to 20 years from now? We're here this 50 years later. Sugar Hill Gang is still really busy. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, they're still busy. They're still touring after, 40 something years of, the songs being commercialized. But, it just goes to show you when you have great music and good music, it will last forever.
Now, can you share some success stories or memorable moments that highlight the impact the label has had on artists in the industry?
Impact on success. Well, working with on being a part of the Jay-Z album was great. Being a part of the Kanye West, Drake, Ice Cube, you know, um, Master P's, the Two Chains, all these people. It was a major, success for us.
Now, can you talk about maybe some of the reasons why you love hip hop? You also mentioned that like you love all different types of hip hop and different
Hmm.
artists, which I feel like sometimes people are afraid to admit that. So, can you explain, that love for you and why it's so strong?
I mean, I love hip hop because that's something that my mother Sylvia Robinson started. So I love it. But I'm more of an R&B guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I,
I,
I like that actually those two genres, like for me growing up, I always like thought they were the same because they, were often like combined together to make some
yeah,
really
they
great
were.
music. So can you talk about, how hip hop also kind of have influence on other genres?
Well, yeah. Well, I think that when hip hop took off, R&B was always in existence, but they sort of combined the R&B and hip hop together. So that took the artists another step higher and basically gave them credibility of being on the rap side as well. You know what I mean? Like you have the Mary J. Blige's, which is a great artist. She's did songs with just about every rapper that's was hot in the days, and she's the queen of hip hop R&B. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff I like.
Now, how do you balance honoring the past while embracing and, just being more innovative in today's music landscape? Or would you say, you know, maybe do you find that a challenge to do both, or is that something that comes naturally to you?
It's a challenge. It's just like everything else. It's a challenge to do both. You just have to, see, a lot of people don't understand this. Like, even with, an artist, being an artist, it has a lot to do with timing, has a lot to do with luck and good music. Because there's a lot of great, artists out here.
Right.
And they just don't get the recognition because, timing is everything.
And now that you say that, I actually want to talk about, like, so many people want to become rap artists and they want to be a part of this genre. As I mentioned, it has, grown so big. What are your thoughts on, like, people who want to get into it? And, maybe what are some reasons people should possibly know why they're getting into it?
I just think that if you want to become an artist, know your business, and, don't let nobody shut your dreams down, because Sylvia Robinson had a dream and she went with it.
And what do you hope to see for the future of hip hop? It's, as I said, it's always changing. It's grown so much. What do you hope to see for the future?
I just hope it keeps going, because as long as it keeps going, she'll always be recognized.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much. Well, before we go, did you think about the about your thoughts on the question?
Ask me that question again.
Okay. All right. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I want to thank you so much for joining us and, having this conversation.
Nah, no doubt about it. And if you ever need me again, I'm always here.
Thank you. Now, you can follow Leland on social media, which you can find on the screen below. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recap cast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum Channel 67 and Verizon Files Channel 33, or watch anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. You can catch a brand new episode of Open with Darren Hymie on Wednesday and with Rena Valentine on Friday. I'm Kibin Alleyne, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.